welcome to another episode of Shooting
the Shit with Rachel
and Neal Young. So we're talking all things real estate photography business growth, mindset, and getting it done. Here come your favorite true entrepreneurs, Rachel and Neal Young, shooting the shit.
I have a ferret on the podcast. Like if we're kind of in a slump, like what kind of things do you do?
Talking about a boob light.
Straddling a power line.
Nice photo.
Ooh, I need that.
I'm like red right now because I'm embarrassed. I go like this. I love it.
Come in.
Sure, use your podcast voice.
You know, over here, I'm kidding out.
Drone's like flipping to the ground.
That's a great callback.
Chit-chatting.
Is that what you call that? Hey!
This episode is brought to you by my admin. Well, HD Photo Hub, which is basically like having an admin.
That's right. And it's not just a delivery platform. It's a powerhouse designed to make your work shine. From stunning teaser videos and social media reels to custom property websites and polished printable flyers, HD Photo Hub automates it all so you can focus on what matters, growing your business.
That's right. Rachel and I are back and we're car podcasting again. It's busy season and it's hard to get together at a good time when we're not either, literally falling asleep at our computers like I did the other night, or that we aren't just out in the field all day. So here we are, car podcasting, and forgive us if there's any glitches, but we found it's a good way to get things done. And I've been in the car listening to a lot of podcasts lately that have inspired me to work on some stuff for my health, for longevity, and avoiding things like dying early and Alzheimer's and such. So we thought it'd be interesting to just chat a little bit about how Rachel does a lot of like healthy stuff and dietary and physically, and I've kind of let a lot of it fall through the cracks over the past 10 years. And I think in our job, our careers where we're out go all day in the car, and it's easy to go get the fast food and to eat just terribly and bad nutrition and no exercise and sedentary basically in a car for a lot of hours. And we thought it might be important to talk about some of this stuff to get you thinking about it, as I've just started to really refocus on it a little bit right now.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point to bring up, Neal, because this business really does take over your whole life, and you are in such a hustle to make the money and to get the business going that you kind of forget to take care of yourself. And that's happened to me multiple times, and it's so hard to slow down. I find it, it's so funny that you say Rachel's into all this health stuff. I always feel like I'm failing miserably at all my health stuff because I try for a while and then I fall off. But it's it doesn't. One thing I recently realized and kind of learned is that if you're on a meal plan or following some kind of new workout plan or something, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you fall off once, that doesn't mean you're done forever. It's you don't quit. You just kind of get back on the horse and keep going. I was doing the 6-pack, which was a pretty strict regimen with my working out and my eating, extremely strict, but it flipping works, man. The results that we see in that group are insane. But for me, it was when I would cheat, I would be really hard on myself. I'd be I'm never going to get where I want to get if if I'm cheating like this, And it was starting to kind of negatively affect my mental health in a sense, because I was putting too much pressure on myself. So now I've been off of it for about 2 months because of it's a little bit of medical stuff. And I have about 2 more weeks until I can work out again, which I'm really excited about. So I'm actually going to go back on the 6-pack.
Okay.
I just paused my membership for a few months while I was going through all this stuff, and I'm going to ease back in, I have to tailor the food to my food allergies now, which is kind of lame, but it is what it is. So yeah, I'm excited to get back on and to try it. But yeah, I think the whole journey of your health it's never perfect. It's never there. You're never complete. It's just what steps are you taking every day to make sure that you are setting yourself up to live a long life? Because let's be real, our food supply is crap. We're sedentary for the most part, sitting. Yeah, we walk a lot on our jobs, but you're not strength training or, helping with bone density, stuff like that. There's so much more that we could and should be doing to take care of our health and make sure that we do live a long, healthy life. And yeah. It's
One
overwhelming,
of
to be honest.
So one of the things I wanted to bring up was that this most recent podcast I listened to, they were mentioning how important it was early on. As the earlier you can do get into a routine, the longer it will impact you for the longevity of your life. So, and they said they're really some of the really important years are really the 20s and the 30s, because you can kind of like, best I can describe it is you're building up a stockpile that will be the foundation that will last longer. It's harder when you're older, when you start to hit the problems. It's much harder to come out of it if you didn't build that foundation earlier. And a lot of that's like the bone density and stuff like that. If you do a lot of that, the sports and the weightlifting and stuff, you're really building a solid foundation to help you last longer. And I was like, oh man. And they're really, I'm already 48, and they were talking about like 35, like 30s. You should really start focusing on this to start thinking about, because you really start to decrease once you hit the 40s and stuff like that. And there's a lot of big things, women especially, that talked a ton about women and the loss of estrogen and how it so negatively impacts women. But there are things they can do, and some of this is nutrition, and some of this is strength training to build the muscles, because the muscles and the bones and all of them have all this stuff that's connected, which I would be largely oversimplifying everything they said, but it's super important to start doing that stuff. And for like the diabetes things, which is diabetes, there's like a certain phase in diabetes that they're correlating to basically being Alzheimer's. I can never say it right, but I'm so terrified of losing my memory when I get older. And one of the big things for that is your pancreas, helping to fight, and to maintain the correct like glucose levels when you have sugar and all that kind of stuff. And one of the big things that's a good buffer for spikes in your glucose levels and stuff, which are the things that cause the problems, is muscle. Muscle is like a big buffer. So the more muscle you have, the more your body can easily maintain the sort of flat line or the normal level. The less muscle you have, the less sort of that, yeah, buffer is the best way I can think to say it. They call it a sink, I believe, but it's the best way you can kind of keep it more steady, to prevent hitting the diabetic levels and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh man, muscle. And in another podcast, they were talking about, when you're thinking about muscle, like one of the bigger muscles in your body are your legs. And so if you can at least be building muscle in your legs, that's a huge muscle that you have there. And like us walking around and stuff isn't really enough to build the muscle. So you really need to be doing things like squats and lunges and stuff like that. So that's why I started incorporating, when I'm brushing my teeth. Nothing crazy, but at least I'm doing, every time I brush my teeth, I'm doing 10 squats, no weights. But it was like you're saying, like, you got to start somewhere, and that's kind of what I've been doing, is starting somewhere and slowly like building a few things. I just started going to the gym again. I've gone twice this week, and I think they laugh at me every time I go to the gym, because literally what I've done is, it's summer and I'm in shorts and a shirt. I literally walk in there the same outfit I'm wearing doing my photo shoot, and I literally do 5 or 10 minutes of just a couple machines. But I'm like, that's better than doing nothing. And I walk out of there in like 5-10 minutes. There must be like, what does this guy think he's even accomplishing? But I'm doing something. It's more than I was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Working.
No, that's great. And you'll work up to more though, Neil. I mean, think about it. You start with 5 or 10 minutes now. Maybe next week you go up to 15. The week after, you don't need to do more than 30 minutes of weightlifting a day. Honestly, that's plenty. So if you get up to 20 minutes, even, that's way better than what you were doing. So no shame in that game. At least you're out there doing it.
One minute is better than what I was doing, Rachel. I've been doing some push-ups here and
Okay,
there. I've
true.
done that.
True.
I've done that and whatever, but I was never really thinking about, I've been thinking about maintaining a lot just because of getting old. I just don't want to fall apart. But then hearing this about how important it was to actually build muscle, not just maintain, it was like, okay, I guess maybe I should really go to the gym and actually, lift some heavy weights and stuff like that. But yeah, that and my diet's always been terrible because I've had zero diversity of food. I I'm like peanut butter and jelly. I don't get enough vegetables. I don't get very many green things at all. And I have a huge sweet tooth. And, one of the big things that I've heard also is that drinking sugary drinks is a huge, there's a big correlation between lots of sugary drinks and a shorter lifespan. Sugar just in general being kind of started to look at as one of these things that potentially may be, I forget how they worded it, like killing you're just dying off. Basically you're dying off earlier. The more you have to process sugar, the earlier you're just gonna either die earlier, or you're also gonna just age faster, was what they were saying. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
No,
yeah,
sugar is
so
not good for you. Not at
God,
all.
I love sugar, so there's
Me
so
too.
many things, but to start working on it is
Me
good, and
too.
start thinking about it. I've been trying to avoid so many times. There's been this apple turnover in a little from the grocery store on my counter for a couple days, and I have almost ate that like hundreds of times, because it's multiple times in just a visit to the kitchen that I think about eating it. And I'm like, do you really actually? It's like an addiction, because I don't really actually need it, and I will sit there and have a
Yeah.
conversation with myself. I'm like a crazy person, but I'm like, you don't need that. You're not actually hungry. Why are you craving that so bad? Like, and then I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to eat it anyway. That's the next thought in my head. Even though I'm like, hey, you learned all
Right.
this stuff about sugar is bad for you, so you shouldn't eat that. I'm like, yeah, but I'll eat it anyway. Literally is the next thought in my head. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's such a
And
powerful
it's
force.
it is. It really is. It's funny that you bring that up, because today I bought Pizza Hut for the kids 2 nights ago. And I had it. I'm allergic to wheat, so basically I'm gluten free, so no pizza crust. I'm allergic to cheese. I'm allergic to tomatoes. So everything in pizza is not good for me. And it's fried and it's gross, right? It's just, there's no nutritional value in pizza, but it's so dang good in pizza. That's my favorite. And we got the garlic cheese bread. Oh, and pepperoni pizza. No. Anyways, so I ate it with the kids. I ate it yesterday for lunch. And then today I was like, I literally pulled the box out, put the pizza and 2 breadsticks on my plate. And I looked at it and I go, Rachel, this is not food. This is processed crap. And I threw it in the garbage. And I made myself spinach with tuna, avocado, and a bell pepper. And I was like, I want to feel good so I can I'm doing an office day today. So I'm literally editing. I've been editing since 9 a.m. It's 4. And I'm like on and off, like edit, fold laundry, edit, clean the sink, or clean the dishes, whatever. Anyways, I knew that if I ate that pizza, I would feel tired and sluggish, and I wouldn't feel good because I'm allergic. So it gives me a rash and it makes my stomach hurt. And I was like, I'm not doing it. And I'm so proud of myself for saying no, because I literally had it on the plate and I was thinking the same thing. I shouldn't eat this, but I'm going to because it tastes so good. And then something in me was like, you got to break the habit and break this like chain that you have going of making the wrong choices for your food so you feel better. I have been so inflamed the last 2 weeks. My knees hurt, all my joints hurt again. My hands hurt, arthritic feeling. My right knee is killing me, which I've had knee problems on and off. But when I do the 6-pack and I'm clear off the sugar and I'm clear off the crap I'm allergic to, I don't have joint pain. So, and we noticed when we didn't do sugar for 40 days, Abel and I gave up sugar for Lent and went 40 days, which was incredibly easy. When you give it up for a good cause, it's really easy to not do it. But on Easter, I had a ton of sugar, and I woke up the next morning and my face was swollen, my joints were stiff. I mean, it's like you really do feel the difference when you cut it out and introduce it back in. It's wild. Same with salt. Salt is a big one too, because on the 6-pack, we do very little salt. And when you have something that's salty, the next day, you're just like super puffed up. You can feel it. It's wild. And I
Weird.
would get I'd get more eye bags. I'd have a double eye bag under my left eye. I always sleep on my left side, so I always have like more of a bag on my left than my right. And in the morning, and I had a double eye bag after eating like a salty steak. I remember that. I'm like, what is happening? A double eye bag? Come on. I'm like, all right. So I mean, if you like try to think of food as fuel, right? Like that's what I'm trying to think of. Like it's not about the taste, it's about how I'm gonna feel after I eat this food, because I have a serious like toxic relationship with food. Like I get bored, I'm like, I'm gonna eat something. I just want to like munch on something. It's like very emotional for me to eat. And I eat a
Yeah.
lot. I'm just lucky that I have a fast metabolism. But,
Yeah.
I'm trying now. I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can get back on track. And
Yeah.
honestly,
And
this
you're
meal
not,
plan, you eat 5 times a day. So it's not like you're deprived from food. You're not hungry. It's just that habit, you know?
yeah. I used to be able to eat anything and I would never gain a pound. It was like when I used to work out when I was in college, it was almost like I felt it was a disadvantage because I couldn't bulk up because I burned everything so fast. But that stopped in my 40s, and changed. And now it's like, oh, I flipped the other way. So, that will get harder for everybody the older they get. So the sooner you can start kind of changing it, I think it'll help. But yeah, oh, man, I
Yeah.
don't know. These cravings are so strong. It's insane. One thing that I have done that helps is having some alternative food in the house. Even if I'm not really actually hungry, I'm looking at that turnover or those cookies and I just want to throw them in my mouth and I'll go, well, you know what? There's yogurt in the fridge and I'll take a plain yogurt and I throw a couple grapes in it. And even though grapes have sugar and stuff, I feel like it's better than having the cookies that are all processed and all that, at least. And so I get a little sweetness, and I find that and or just waiting. Um, Sometimes if I just tell myself, hey, if you're still having this craving in 30 minutes, then come back. And a lot of times I'll get distracted and do something else and I totally forget about it. But otherwise I'm eating that freaking, if I stay there long enough, I'm eating the dang apple turnover.
And you shouldn't even have that. Like, I can't even have it in my house. I have marshmallows, like s'mores, stuff to make s'mores, and I'll just grab a marshmallow and just eat it. And then I'm like, I just want one more, maybe one more. It's awful.
Yeah.
I have ice cream in the house. It's like I'm eating ice cream
Yeah.
every single night if I have it
It's
now. I
the
cannot.
best.
It's so bad. It's so hard.
The best
So
thing is to
yeah,
not have
just
it. But that apple turnover,
totally.
I've been like battling it. I've literally been walking in the kitchen like going, how many times can I turn this apple turnover? I'm like, nope, I'm not doing
Yeah,
it. Then I'm like, maybe I'm doing it.
be
Nope, I'm
strong.
not. I'm trying to beat it.
So one thing
I'm
I
trying to
learned.
figure out my brain. I'm like talking to my brain like, why are we so intrigued by this apple turnover that we actually don't even really care about that much? It's not even your favorite food. It's just that it's sweet. I'm like literally trying to
Yeah, but
figure out, you know?
when you eat it, Neil, it releases dopamine in your brain. When you eat sugar, it releases dopamine. And that's what you're addicted to, is the dopamine hit. Like,
Mm,
we are constantly especially if you're ADHD, you already have low dopamine, so you're constantly searching out a way to get dopamine. And
mm,
that's one really easy, thrilling way to do it. And when you're doing something to kind of break the rules, it releases even more dopamine because you're like being a rebel. In my mind, at least, I'm like, hee hee. I'm
yeah.
breaking the rules and eating sugar. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is stupid.
I'm so
Sabotaging my
crazy.
health.
I'm so crazy that recently I even was like, what if is it just the taste that I want? And so I put it in my mouth. I tried something, it was ice cream or something. I'm like, so could I just like put this in my mouth, get the taste and spit it out and I'd be fine? But no, it was not enough. It was not enough. I wanted
Oh,
to eat it. Isn't that funny? I'm like,
can
so
you
that
just
ain't it.
smell the cookies? Like,
Yeah, no,
and not
no, it's not enough.
ingest
Yeah,
it? No.
yeah,
Oh, weird.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's
One
crazy.
thing I wanted to say about putting on muscle, because I know you were talking about lifting and you need to add
Hmm.
muscle. It is very difficult to put on a lot of muscle, and it happens a lot slower than you think. One thing I learned from the six pack, I think the numbers are like, for men in 1 year, they can put on between 6 and 8 pounds of muscle. And for women, it's like 3 to 4 pounds of muscle in a year is all you can put on. And you need to be lifting like literally as heavy as you can actually lift to help
Oh,
like break those fibers and rebuild muscle. So when you're working out, just have that mindset as like, this is the last time I'm ever going to be able to work out. I'm going to lift as hard as I possibly can just for those 5-10 minutes. If you do like 3 super hard curls, that's better than doing 20 light curls if you're trying to build the muscle.
mhm. Yeah,
Which
yeah. And
yeah,
is
I
it?
was
And
shocked. I'm like, you always think about women who are like, oh yeah, I've gained weight since I've started working out the last 3 months. I may have lost fat, but I've gained muscle. And muscle weighs more than fat. So that's why I've put on like 3 to 5 pounds.
Rach, did you know that listeners can use the code STS to get 10 free full deliveries? That means 10 complete marketing kits with HD Photo Hub.
Yes, and that includes property websites,
videos, flyers, and more absolutely free.
And what I love is I can set it up so that the clients have to pay before they can even download their photos.
Oh, that's the best. No more chasing invoices. And the online ordering has saved me so much time with back and forth text and emails. It's just automated.
Use the code STS to get 10 complete marketing kit downloads now.
They think that maybe they're gaining a couple pounds because they're putting on all this muscle, when in reality, you could only gain like 3 to 4 pounds of muscle in a year, which is like 1 pound a quarter in 3 months. So
Yeah.
just know that it's going to take time and it's a consistency game. Also, for women, walking with a weighted vest, you don't have to do a lot of weight. You can do like 6 or 7 pounds, but that's a really good way. You can have it on when you're just walking around your house. Literally, our backpacks with the camera in it are like a weighted vest. So if you just walked around your house with your backpack on for an extra hour a day, it would help you to build up some of that bone density.
Yeah. Well, you know, it was really interesting, this podcast. They said, and this was on Diary of a CEO, which is an awesome podcast. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. But I thought the total opposite of this. They were saying that in the studies that they've done, they have found that the people with the best longevity of their bones are people who actually did sports that were higher in impact, such as basketball, things where you're jumping. Gymnastics, they said young girls in gymnastics had some of the best physical attributes for muscles and bones, just is high impact. And I thought that was the total opposite, because I was always so concerned about joints, and you think like, oh, you got a bicycle because it's low impact. But they say you actually want some of that, the banging of bones actually is good for creating that density of bone and strengthening the bones and building bone, which I thought was very interesting. They said how critical it was for kids when they're younger to not be sedimentary and sitting around playing video games all day, because this is the most critical time for them to build that base of the bone. And a lot of the girls, there's big problems with the nutrition for girls trying to be tiny and small and stuff, that they're missing a lot of that nutrition that basically put them at a deficit, at a bad start for the rest of their life because of that. And another big one that was really interesting was women breastfeeding, that they could lose up to something crazy while breastfeeding if they're not getting the right nutrients to replenish. They were, I think, what is something crazy like 20 or 30% they could lose of their bone loss while they're breastfeeding their child.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it was like you had to be very careful to make sure you're replacing, getting all the vitamins you need, because you were depleting a ton out of your body. I was like, what? So
Does
she was
that
like,
come back after you're done breastfeeding, or, you know?
she made it sound like you really had to be careful that, yeah, it sounds, I think you can like replenish, but it sounded like it was pretty detrimental, could be detrimental if not. So I don't know, but Diary of a CEO, check it out. But
Wow.
yeah, so I
It's a
was
great
like,
podcast.
wow. Yeah, yeah, very great.
It's
Love that
crazy.
podcast. So anyway, I was like
Yeah.
kind of blown away by some of those stats. It was insane. So, but yeah, so I've started, and then, oh, you know what? I thought this was very interesting too. Just from like, even in business, with your business, recommending things to your clients, like upsells or products or anything. I was listening to an infomercial by Chuck Norris. And he actually is the one who
I don't know where
motivated
this
me.
is going.
Yeah, no, but he motivated me to actually look at and into getting some more supplements and stuff like that. I almost bought his product that he was selling, was this basically just a product that was a tons of different supplements, ashwagandha and collagen, bovine collagen, and all this stuff. But the reason I listened so long was because, for whatever reason, I feel like I trust Chuck Norris, that like he's like a down to earth guy, that if he's telling me this, I believed him. So like, if you can build that confidence in your clients, like I feel like it's the same thing. Like if you're going to tell them, hey, I recommend drone on this, they're going to listen. And I just thought that was really powerful. Now, what I did do is I then, after I was about to buy it, and I was like, you know what, let me just do a little research. And I asked ChatGPT, what are the reviews on this thing from Chuck Norris? Is it good? You know, and they said basically like a lot of the ingredients were good and stuff like that, but the quality was questionable. The reviews were sort of iffy, and ChatGPT was like we could find some more actually higher quality, and some of the levels of the quantities of things in there they didn't think was a high enough to get the result you needed. So like not enough dosage, like it was like 100 milligrams versus should really be 500 milligram. So stuff like that. And it might not have
Mm.
been the highest quality, that was questionable on some of the highest quality of the products you could get. So instead I researched and got some individual products to get a lot of the stuff they were talking about in this. But basically, um, yeah, I know Rachel's like, well, the collagen is questionable whether your body can absorb it and stuff, but I got a collagen with these peptides, which if you don't have the peptides, then it's definitely junk. Even ChatGPT said that. So Rachel and ChatGPT agree on that. And then I got like this like green stuff that's all a bunch of, it's like a green powder that's all vegetables and stuff. I don't get any of that crap. Added a multivitamin. I added ashwagandha. I restarted doing creatine again just because I keep hearing over and over, everybody is going, yeah, creatine is good for recovery and good for brain health. And so
Mhm.
and for women, that was another big thing, that a lot of women have this stigma that creatine is like for guys who want to build muscle and be big and huge and bulky, but that's not what it is at all. It's more about recovery. But also great for the brain health. So they highly recommend that all women should be doing creatine as well. So I thought it was
Yeah,
interesting.
I do creatine, and I do creatine, lion's mane, a scoop of protein powder, a scoop of AG1, which is like 75 vitamins and minerals, whatever, in a
Hmm.
smoothie with
Yeah.
my strawberries. Actually, I have my strawberries. I froze them from my garden, which is awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I do. Yeah, I do that, and I think it's the creatine. It gives me like a buzz, like it gives me energy. I feel it in my body. Like it's crazy. So I love the
Sure.
creatine it gives me a little boost of energy. And then the lion's mane is for your brain function, gives you more focus, and the
Hmm.
creatine gives you more focus as well. So I do that kind of mid morning. It's my 10 o'clock snack. And that just kind of gives me that second boost after I've had coffee to get
Yeah.
through. Uh, and I love
I
it.
got.
And then what else? I'm on like an ashwagandha blend. That's just to kind of chill me out a little bit. Helps with like regulating mood.
Mm.
And then I'm on an adrenal flow right now to get my adrenals working properly. And then I'm supposed to be relaxing and chilling, and that's just not happening. I'm not good at
That's funny.
that. I'm like,
Oh,
oh, they told me to quit
yeah.
drinking coffee. My doctors told me to quit drinking coffee in the afternoon. They're like, just drink a green tea or matcha latte. And I'm like, I bought it. I haven't even tried it. It's sitting on my counter for the last 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay, tomorrow I'll do the matcha. Today I'll do the Americano. God.
Uh-huh.
They're like, your
Uh-huh.
coffee in the afternoon is probably draining your adrenals. It's
Yeah.
probably not good for you. And we need to get those up so that your hormones are working properly. And I'm like, okay, I'm really bad at following instructions. I pay all this money to work with these doctors and like get help. And then I can't freaking follow the rules. I'm like, what is wrong? I even put a sticky note that said, you paid good money to heal your body. I like,
Mhm.
and then it says midday pause on another sticky note. I'm like, well, I haven't done that today and it's 4:30. Like, shoot, I
Uh-huh.
did go to the
Uh-huh.
store. Is that a break?
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't think
But
so either. Anyways, and watch out for supplements though, because honestly, like I do moringa and calora, which helps detox you off like mold toxins and stuff. Um, and there's just it's expensive. Oh, I also do beef, kidney, heart, and liver pills that are supposed to help with iron and like I don't know, you get all the. It's
how's
supposed to
that
give you a
help
lot of
with
energy. It
your?
doesn't taste bad. You don't burp it up like fish
I was
oil
gonna say,
pills.
how does it help with people in close proximity of you?
Right. It's like 6 pills though. It's a lot.
Oh
Anyways, that
wow.
one. So each of these are like $50 a month. I mean, it adds up. It's
Yeah.
crazy how expensive it can get. And I did just see a reel about supplements, how it's like a fraud industry. Like, oh, you
Yeah.
got to make sure you're getting ones that are of good quality because a lot of the capsules don't even.
Psst. Sorry to interrupt. If you haven't heard, Rach and I are using Pixl CRM.
Pixl CRM isn't just another boring tool, it's basically your business's best friend. With Pixl CRM, you can automate your lead generation, follow ups, client communication, and stay top of mind with email campaigns. And there's just so much more.
And if you want, you can try it out today. Just go to pixelcrm.com/STS and you're going to get the first month of Pixel CRM free.
Dissolve. Yeah. A lot of the
Yeah.
capsules don't even dissolve properly to get you the nutrients in your body.
I've heard
So
that. Yeah. Yeah.
just be careful with the brand you're buying and make sure, it's something that you actually need, because it's easy to see a reel or 5 reels that come up all saying the same thing. I keep getting the parasite detox one, so I actually bought that one. I want that too. So I haven't seen any worms yet, but I'm waiting. I'm like, I eat sushi like 4 days a week, so
Is that the one?
I'm
Is that
sure.
the one where the girls show the like tapeworm in the tub or something like that? Gross. Did you see that
Yeah,
one?
you
It's
like
like,
see the worms in the toilet.
ew,
It's so gross.
gross. Yeah, so
Yeah.
gross. Um, well, a couple other things I mentioned too was that were really super important are drink enough water. If you're not drinking enough water, that's not helping. And then, you're supposed to be, you also to maintain your muscle, you need to be getting enough protein. And a lot of us aren't, and myself included, are probably not getting enough protein. You're supposed to be getting a gram per pound that you weigh, basically, which like what 170 or 180 grams I'm supposed to have a day or something like that, which I don't think I get, so that I do
Yeah.
start the day. I do like I do feel pretty good. So whether or not this stuff works or not, I can't tell you, but I've been feeling pretty good. And what I've started the day doing is I do instead of a breakfast, I do a shake. So I have it's like a meal replacement protein powder that we have. So I do that, water, a banana. I have a strawberry and blueberry and kale like frozen bag of stuff that I just put a scoop, like, cause I'm just like, hey, a scoop of that, it's got kale in it. That's better than I ever did any other day to get kale in my diet. So I put that in there, and then I put the creatine in there. I have this chia seed, whatever it is, flax seed combo with omega 3s. I put that in there. I put the collagen in there, the collagen, whatever peptide thing. And then I put that green, whatever it is, green something is the name. I put a scoop of that in there, and I figure it's, even if it just had the kale and the banana, it's better than what I have been doing the last 30 years or 48, 5 years, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
so,
totally. No,
so
getting
anyway,
enough protein is essential for sure. And that's part of the 6 pack is you are getting 120 grams of protein a day. And it's a lot. It's a lot of meat, and it's a lot of peanut butter. It's a lot of protein powder. I mean, one of your
yeah,
snacks is literally protein powder and water, and you just drink it straight. I mean, it's not glamorous. It's not like the most
yeah,
delicious, but it's getting you the protein you need. I've been doing chomp bars, which have 10 grams of protein for a snack, or like apples with almond butter is about 10 grams of protein. For me, it's like I have food prep. If I prep the food, I am good to go. If I don't prep it, I'm not going to have time to do it. So like my yogurt in the morning is like a cashew yogurt because I'm not supposed to do dairy with chia seeds. So the yogurt is 5 grams of protein. The chia seeds are 6 grams of protein. I do half a scoop of protein powder in that. That's 5 more grams of protein. So I'm at about 16 grams of protein in just my breakfast yogurt. And then I grab fruit out of the garden and throw that in there for taste. And I make 4 of those and keep them in the fridge without the fruit.
mm,
So I can just grab it in the morning and go. And it's like I eat it a lot of times in the car when I'm taking my kids to school, or
mm,
to weights for football.
yeah,
So that's been great. But and then like lunch stuff just has to be, I have to have my peppers cut up, ready to go. My avocado is, ready right there in front of my face. So that's the thing I grab.
mm, yeah,
So it's a lot and 6 pack, they tell us to food prep for the week, like 3 or 4 days. So you basically food prep twice a week for your lunches. And I was doing that. You weigh out all your food, all your portions. It's pretty cool.
yeah. Yeah, I have to start doing more bringing a lunch because one time I did that where I just put yogurt in the grapes, so at least if I got like a craving for fast food or whatever, that I could just kill the craving to get home.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I haven't done that enough because too many times I just fail and I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'm getting food. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I get absolute garbage on the road. I get fast food or I get a snack at a
Yeah.
7-Eleven or some garbage. So yeah. So
Yeah, I
I
don't do
just,
fast food anymore. I just don't. I take that back. I had McDonald's chicken nuggets the other day and they were disgusting. It's like gross.
oh, really?
Why didn't I just go get like, I was trying to not do wheat, but I'm pretty sure the breading on that has wheat. So, because I really wanted a
Oh, yeah.
burger, but I'm like, nope. And the patties are disgusting. I can't just eat the patty without the bun.
Hmm.
So, anyways, I do sushi. That's my guilty pleasure, and I get not the like healthy one. I get the one with all the sauce all over it. It's
Yeah.
like the most calorie
The
one. There's still only like
dragon
500 or 600
bomb.
calories, but still, it's not what I should be eating. It's not the best,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I still love
Anyways,
I'm a sucker for a fillet of fish, man. At McDonald's, I
yeah,
love a fillet of fish.
they're
Yeah.
so good.
Oh, I
I
love
wanted
them.
that, but I'm allergic to cod too. And I was like, if I do that,
Oh.
I have cod. Yeah, and I'm sure the sauce on it, the tater or the tartar sauce, has
Oh yeah. Oh, all
mayo
kinds
in
of
it,
crap.
and I'm
Oh yeah.
allergic to eggs. So
What?
I'm like,
Okay,
oh my
the
god.
list is
Oh,
shorter if you just tell us what you're not allergic to.
seriously, I can eat spinach. I can't have kale. I can't have lettuce,
Oh wow.
parsley, black pepper, eggs. It's insane. And there's parsley in like everything. Wheat is in everything. Baker's yeast, I'm like that's like a level 4 out of 4 that I'm allergic to, or maybe it's 3 out of 4. That was the highest allergy like reaction. And I used to eat a ham and cheese croissant almost every day from Starbucks, and the croissant has baker's yeast in it, right?
Mm.
And cheese, and I'm allergic to cheese. So, yeah,
Wow.
crazy. I was like, well, no wonder why I felt like crap for so long. Because I did the six pack because I felt like crap. I'm like, I got to clean up my diet. I don't
Yeah.
feel right. And then I
Yeah.
did the six pack and I felt better, but I still didn't feel 100%. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Did the allergy test and hormone test. And I'm like, okay, well, that explains a lot. But try
Mm.
cutting all of that out of your diet, Neil. It's so annoying. It's like every day I have to have this special meals from everybody else. I can't freaking eat anything when we go out to eat. Like breakfast, I literally, the other morning, we were in Portland for my daughter's soccer tournament, and I had fruit and bacon. And the bacon definitely had pepper on it, but I was like, I have to eat something. It was the only thing I could have for breakfast. It was really
Mm.
lame. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's part of me, like, my mindset switches so quick between I got this, I can do this, it's okay, I'll feel good after I eat this, to I don't freaking care, I'm eating whatever I want, I'll suffer, it's not that bad, because it's not that bad until it's bad. And now it's bad because I've been cheating so much the last month that I'm like inflamed, my knee hurts, and I'm like, "Argh, okay, gotta get back
Mm.
on it." It's just
Yeah.
annoying. I'm like,
We
why?
we
Why?
have a really hard time with like I think it's that we really struggle with I do the future, like doing it for the future is a really
Right.
hard thing, because they're like,
Yes.
yeah, even though I'm like, hey, I would love to get rid of this muffin top or whatever you want to call it I got here. Uh, but in the moment, I'm like, yeah, but this is just one thing. You know what I mean? It's like, no, if you want to, I'm literally telling myself, if you want to get there, this is the thing that makes the difference. Stop doing this. But it's
Yep.
literally, I'm fighting myself on it because it's so hard to go,
Yep.
but just the one time.
Yep.
I'm a crackhead,
You know what was
basically.
really cool about the six pack is I feel that 100%. But like the cool thing about the six pack was we would weigh in every morning, and my scale was hooked to an app.
Yeah.
Within you have an app for the program, so it's hooked to that app, so you can see your progress. Literally, if I would cheat one little bit, I would see it on the scale the next day. Like we were so dialed with our meals and our working out that you could literally control to the decibel basically. And anytime that we'd go up and we didn't know why, we'd ask our coach. He'd ask us questions. He'd be like, you had too much salt, there was salt in that, too much salt in that, and that made your body go up. Like he has it down to a science. It's pretty
Wow.
incredible. I really
That is
want to
incredible.
have either Alan on here, he's the coach, or Jeff or Anton on, because they are just an amazing resource for all of this that we're talking about. So we should definitely schedule that sooner than later.
Yo, and listen to this. Okay, this is another thing that I just remembered that I heard that I was like, well, about this whole estrogen thing. So for women, premenopause is a big thing. And when your estrogen starts to decrease, one of the things that they said can happen in some country, they literally call it she's got 50 shoulder or something like that. When you turn 50 or something like that, there's this high likelihood of your shoulder hurting or your joints hurting or your arm like just going to sleep, or women just saying like, I can't do the range of motion I used to be able to do. And it's all related to premenopause and the decrease in your estrogen and this deficit it creates in what your body can normally do. And I thought that was really interesting. And one of the things they mentioned, and then men have this, a drop in testosterone, which can affect the way they feel and all this other stuff. And one of the things they're recommending in this, I'd never even knew was a thing. They recommend getting a baseline like in your 30s, which I've already missed, but I guess I could get my baseline now, which is probably way different for testosterone than it was when I was 25. But they said if you get that base level, it makes it easier later when you're 40, 50, 60, whatever, to then test again and go, oh, well, yeah, there's a huge shift in like your testosterone level, which is affecting, or your estrogen or whatever. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know it was a thing to get tested on that stuff. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but anyway.
Yeah, it's wild. Now that when you get a little older, you start to really think about the stuff. You're like, oh crap, I actually do have a lot of aches and pains. Like, what's the reason? And then you start digging into it and you go down this dang rabbit hole. It's like,
Mhm.
it can be very overwhelming. So just don't
Yeah.
get freaked out. Just try to
But
think about the steps you can take today to kind of get on the right track with your health and your fitness, because it really does
yeah.
help you in the future.
And they did say though that it isn't too late, no matter what your age is, it isn't too late. You can start building back the opposite direction for your muscle and for all that stuff, but you just have to start. Yeah, it's going to be harder the longer you wait, but you can do it. You just got to battle that. It's going to be really hard to get started, but they said your body will react and your body will start building the muscle, and the sooner that you can do that, the more it increases your likelihood of longevity. Another big problem was when you lose your muscle mass and your bone density. Your muscle mass, you're more likely to fall, right? When you start to get older, you just don't have the same
Mm-hmm.
stability. And when you have the fragile bones at that point, you fall and you break a hip. There's some crazy stat that like 30% of the people when they break their hip will die. 30%.
30% will die. I heard that
Not
50% will go back to their original mobility and like
not
tasks and things that they can
yeah,
do.
I don't know.
30% will die.
30%
That's
will, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 30%. I might have this stat wrong. It was a ridiculous stat though. If it's not 30%, it was whatever you were like, okay, I don't want that to happen, because it was either from complication of the surgery or yada yada yada. Yeah. And there was like yeah, I thought it was a much smaller percentage that would actually go back, but I think the majority stat was that they will never return to the same mobility. That was a majority number, that you're never going to move around your house the same. You were not going to get back to that. And maybe that was after a certain age. I don't know, but it just made me go like, yeah, I don't want brittle bones. I don't want osteoporosis. I don't want any of that stuff. So what can I do? I got to do stuff now. So the more you can do now is the longer you will go for brain health, and all the bone stuff too correlated to brain health, and all, and the muscle health, all that all tied together actually too. So
Yeah. And if you
yeah.
want to get a DEXA scan, it'll tell you your bone density, your body fat
Yes.
percentage, like your
Yes. They
visceral
said do.
fat percentage. It's because mine was low. My bone density was low. And then I did one 3 months later and it had come up. If I did one
Yes.
now, it'd probably be low again because I haven't been lifting. I've lifted weights my whole life. And I was shocked. I was like, how is mine low? I have been lifting like on and off my whole life since I was a teenager. Like,
Did you
it's
breastfeed?
crazy to me.
Did you
Well,
breastfeed?
yeah.
See,
Yeah. 2 kids. Maybe
there you
that's
go.
it. That depleted it. Yeah.
There's
And
a
but my
huge.
nutrition has been crap until this last year. Like
That's
my
what I'm
nutrition has
thinking.
been very bad. So I guarantee that was probably
And I think about that when I was in high school. I didn't realize how lactose intolerant I was, and so I don't know what nutrition I absorbed during that time when I should have been.
right.
That's probably why I didn't end up being 6 foot like my dad, is what I wonder about.
Yeah.
Wasn't until college that I
Yeah.
realized, oh, I think that it's dairy every time that's giving me the like basically IBS kind of reaction I would get.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yep. And
Yeah.
took me a long time to figure that one out, though.
Mm-hmm. Gross.
but but
Okay, well I
anyway,
gotta go.
gross.
Enough of that. I gotta go now.
And on
I
that
gotta
note,
go.
you gotta go. I gotta
I
go.
really
Wait, no.
do.
Oh, what
really
kind
do.
you gotta go? No. And on that note, well, hopefully you guys will, if you're not thinking about it, I think the earlier you think about it, it would help you, and we'll all be hanging out together when we're 100, hopefully. So, and still playing basketball, which I've never
Right?
played. But anyway, thanks,
Exactly. So go
guys.
do some jumping jacks, grab your weighted vest, and watch out for the supplements you buy.
And a little ashwagandha. There you go.
Yeah. All
All
right. I'm
right,
gonna go
guys.
eat
Have a
some
good one.
protein.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.